Oh. Welcome. What's up? Yo, welcome to another episode, which is 105. So, welcome to the In Your Face show. And I'm here with a very cool friend, my guy. He got his own film out. I'm kind of happy. I'm happy for him. His name is Mickey Martinez, my brother. How are you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. So, how's your day going, man?
It's going good. Just getting the word out on this thing. I'm starting to reach out to shows and reach out to trying to get on people's radar more. I was kind of focusing on getting the old people who donated to the comic and stuff, and so I'm focusing on getting new film people, and it's a whole different group of people, and you have to talk to them in a whole different way.
Very understandable. So, it's going to be a very, very cool show. So, how do you say the name of the film? Lechuza?
Yeah, it's called lechuza.
Lechuza. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I almost got it wrong, but it's cool. It's cool. We good. I ain't get it wrong this time. Lechuza. All right, Lechuza. Get your ass up and let's ready to rock. All right, baby. All right, man. So, what inspired you to pursue doing a film?
Yeah. So, my background's in distribution and producing, so I've been doing that for 6 years, and then I made films in college and stuff and high school. But for this, I kind of wanted to make a horror film, and I wanted to make a horror feature. But and then I realized, I need to do this proof of concept short, raise money for that, then use that to try to raise money for the feature. Because I wanted to do it. I didn't want to do it as run and gun as I'd done other stuff. I wanted to get great people and pay them, and I wanted to do it the right way, I guess you could say. So as far as the story, I grew up with this story. So I grew up. It's like a Latin American myth. So I grew up with this story that my dad would tell me stories about it, and his dad had stories about it, and it's just so if you don't know, lechuza is this woman who was this witch who was kind of killed for practicing witchcraft, and she cursed the people who killed her, and she said that she'd come back as an owl. And then when she was burning, or not burning, because I don't think they actually burned witches, an owl perched on top of where she was dying, and then apparently her spirit went inside it. And so it's the actual creature of legend. It's this giant owl with the face of a woman.
Okay.
And sort of almost half of the body of a woman. And so my dad would tell me stories about how he lived on a ranch in Mexico, and he would hear crazy noises, and he'd when he was a very, very little kid, he would follow them, and he said he would see a big owl, and he liked owls. He knew what owls were, and but he would get closer to this one, and he'd see that the owl had wrinkles on its face, and he was like, "What's going on?" And his dad would run outside and shoot it with a shotgun, and it would just fly away like nothing. And there's a bunch of people have stories like that, and I grew up with that fear. And so I wanted to take that and then turn it into this film, because you don't really see that creature represented in any kind of media. So I thought it'd be a cool, fun visual thing to have.
Came off my clip. Yeah, I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, you have La Llorona, and you have that's probably it, I guess, when it comes to like Latin American folk like monsters in like cinema. And I
Folklore,
think,
basically.
yeah, and I think there's so much great folk horror here, and there's so much like, and I'm talking about American cinema because the Mexican cinema had that we have like, my friend texted me today and he's like, why do luchadors fight so many monsters in Mexican movies? And I said it's because Mexican fears personify themselves as monsters, but American fears personify themselves as like Nazis. So a lot of our superheroes fight Nazis, and a lot of our superheroes fight aliens, which is like the fear of foreigners. So Americans have
Okay.
a huge fear of foreigners, and that personifies itself as aliens. And but
Okay.
superheroes are luchadors, and they fight monsters, which is really fun.
Okay.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh wow. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
uh, that situation, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I very much understand, the type of American, folklore, American myths, like the fucking what you call that shit? That big ass monster that lives in the goddamn woods. You know what I mean? The
Bigfoot.
month Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that's a myth. Now if I see the motherfucking coming, I'm running. I'm taking off. Goddamn it, I'm gone. You ain't catching me. I'm good fuck. But nah, I'm just saying like it's like haunted houses. That is, what I'm saying, that's a movie in itself.
Yeah.
Shit, if you catch them, if you actually lived in a haunted house, you could actually tell those stories and actually, you know, like right what you heard and what happened. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Eh,
Bigfoot and the haunted house stuff is very much American in the way of, uh, for Bigfoot, we're afraid of what was here before us because we're
yeah,
invaders into this land. This is someone else's land. And so we're afraid of Bigfoot. It's the same thing for a
right,
house. Like, we're not the only people to live in this house. There's something
right,
else that used to be here. And
right,
maybe it doesn't want us here. Like, it's very weird.
right. And you notice how ghosts or ghost spirits, whatever, same thing to me. I mean, to me it is, but you know how some ghosts don't pass on. You know what I'm saying? They stay. If a person dies in the house, some of them stay in that place that they died in, and some of them don't want to pass on to the next life. You know what I mean? And I've noticed that, like, and basically, being a human being that we are, it's it would be scary to us because what I'm saying, scared of every goddamn thing. Well, you know what I mean. 'Cause I know I'm scared to go goddamn out. What? Shit. I'm nah.
I have
But
friends who like go ghost hunting, and I'm like, no, I'm okay.
hell no, fucking with them ghosts. You go do it yourself. I'm gone. But nah though, nah, like sometimes, yeah, like we live in a around here in Camden, New Jersey, we live in a old city, very old city. So like I remember when I was younger, like years ago, man. Like you know how like at 1 o'clock when nobody's around, I'm not even yeah. This is when I was young. When at 1 o'clock when nobody was around, like I was sitting on my porch, right? Because because it's in the summertime, and it would feel so much like a ghost town. Oh my God, it feel a presence of whatever is out there because they come out at night. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it felt so rigid and fucking scary as shit. And nobody like, you can't see it, but you know it's there. It feel, oh my God, yeah,
Yeah.
make my skin crawl. But nah, man, I'm just trying to bring some comedy, some feel good into the story. You know what I mean? Make you feel good. I don't want you feeling bad on the set. You know what I mean? Feeling scary on the set. You know what I mean? But nah. So what is the story about?
Yeah, so it's been described as Evil Dead meets Hereditary because those two things are like really important to me. I think Evil Dead is probably the most important indie movie ever made, like more so than like Pulp Fiction. I think that Evil Dead showed you what you can do with the money that you have and be effective at it.
Mm-hmm.
And just the energy of that movie. So yeah, it's Evil Dead beats Hereditary in that it is about like a family, and so the movie the short revolves around these group of sisters who it's the night before their mother's funeral, and they kind of came together for like this sort of final goodbye, and one of the sisters tries to resurrect the mother because all of them are they practice brujeria, which is like magic, but it's steeped in like indigenous beliefs and in like Latin America. So one of them tries to resurrect their mother and it doesn't work, but it calls forward this lechuza who punishes people who deal in magic and punishes people who go against like the natural order of things. And the lechuza punishes them by basically exploiting what they're afraid of and like showing it to them. And so we see what the different sisters kind of have to go through, and their like interpersonal relationships sort of come to the forefront. And it's only like 10 minutes. We really wanted to get it to be 10 minutes so we can like we can put it in festivals and stuff, and we wanted that pace to be there. But yeah, it's just like it's like a taste of what the feature's about. The feature's a lot deeper and richer, but the short is we wanted to get just the main points of the feature and then like put it together. Some people grab a scene from the feature, some people grab like a bunch of different scenes. We wanted to basically tell a smaller version of the same story.
I feel you. I feel you. So, like, because I feel like, how many years have you been preparing this?
Well, I came up with the idea for the feature like maybe 3 years ago, and I wrote the feature. I wrote different versions of it. At first, it was essentially just this version of like The Craft, but I didn't like it. It just felt too much like The Craft, and then I came up with the idea that it should be brujeria. It shouldn't be witchcraft. It should be this thing that I'm very familiar with, that it's steeped in like these indigenous beliefs. And then when I came up with that and I wrote a version that was that, I realized, it needs an antagonist. It needs something that is like a metaphor that personifies their fear and their problems with each other. And then I was like, okay, what should it be? It should be something that isn't seen in media a lot.
Right.
And so I came up with La Lechuza, and I did a lot more research on that, more than like what I already knew. And then I came up with basically what her role is in the story. And
okay.
It starts off more like a family drama, but as soon as like shit hits the fan, I guess, then it just go into the end.
Okay. All right. We got one comment in the comment box. Catherine Bartelt said, "Hello, everybody. Greetings from Germany." Hello. What's up, baby? How are ya? So, yeah, man. So what you're saying is that lechuza, the lechuza, I would call it a spirit. You know what I'm saying? It basically attack those who deal within witchcraft, basically, because all those forms of whatever people call it is still a form. It's still a form of witchcraft. It just morphed or just different name. You know what I'm saying? It just comes from different cultures, but we all know where it comes from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I just wanted to. So like when how can I say this? When in Latin American culture, I guess when they come up with monsters somehow, a lot of the monsters are about warning children to not do something. And so like La Llorona is basically, hey kids, don't play next to a running stream at night, and they come up with a monster and you don't do it. I don't know what chupacabra is, but for like lechuza, it's basically like
I thought chupacabra was a roach.
so don't meddle in like these things. And the thing I found really interesting about brujeria is it is Catholic. It's like rooted in like indigenous beliefs, but the way it survived to modern times is it like sort of like it sort of like wrapped itself into Catholicism, and like some people like do like the egg and stuff to like that is brujeria. That's old, and then I don't know why Catholics tie it into like Catholicism and Christianity. It's just sort of like happens in like a really interesting way, and sort of the way that Christmas is taken from like paganism. I don't know how it survives, but it's really interesting and it's really fun to like delve in there and then figure out like, okay, what can I use and what of the customs of Catholicism that I know, what comes from Latin America, and then kind of have to like take some of that and some of it, and some of the brujeria in the film, in both films, like the short film and the feature, people will recognize as like, oh, that's where this comes from, or oh, that's what this means. And it's gonna be really fun to watch it with like to show my dad. My dad doesn't know I'm doing this because I don't know how comfortable he'd be of that I'm using like the thing that scared him as a child. So I'm gonna show him when it's done, and I'll be like, look what I did.
Well, see, you know, a lot of those things that, like how you just said, it formed itself in the Catholicism and religious part. Well, see, you have people that are very sick in the head. You live in a fallen world, so any fucking fucked up thing is possible when it comes to a fallen world with a godless world. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. If it don't have God, it's not. You don't know what's coming out the plant out of evil persons. You know, you don't know what the fuck they doing. So I feel like, you know, to mask it with a Catholicism and shit like that, you know, I don't know, man. It's just in my heart, man. I just feel that people. It all comes down to the people doing the shit. You know, like you know how in Catholicism, you know what I'm saying, you have to go before the priest and expose your sins to him because he's the one that's, you know, supposedly close to God.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Christianity, it's like you don't have to have a priest. You have Jesus is the priesthood, you know. Jesus is the priest, you know what I'm saying? Come to him anyway beforehand, you know what I'm saying? But it's all looped in religion. You see how that thing is? And all of that, spirits can attach to it. You know, that's a spirit of religion, religious spirit. You know what I'm saying? And anything that is evil can attach itself to that. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's basically saying, okay, you know, that's basically saying the enemy can say, it's like that old saying, how did he convince people that he did not exist? You know what I'm saying? How did he convince people that he didn't exist? Because they're not going to believe it. You know what I'm saying? But if you know and acknowledge that he exists, he's exposed. So now, you know, lechuza. If you acknowledge that it's there, it can't hide. You see what I'm saying? That's how I could tell that it formed itself with that, you know, and people tried to use something good to cover up the bad that they was doing within that situation. You know what I'm saying? And like I said,
it's really interesting.
Yeah, you can't I mean, not everybody is everybody. Not every. There's some people that are born in witchcraft in a family that are people that are born in witchcraft and people that's all they know. So how would you, you know what I'm saying? If that's all you know and that's all that you was taught your whole life, you don't know, you don't have no form of knowing the American way, the Mexican way, the Indian way, every way possible. You just know witchcraft or Santeria or shit like that. You know what I'm saying? By the way, I'm, it's all love here. But nah, what I'm saying is that not saying that because people who basically grew up in it, don't know the true origins of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's and there's a lot of books that I started reading to like really figure out what this was and figure out like what the roots of it were.
Yeah.
And
I could.
and a big part of it was also, well, a big part of like the lechuza stuff was there are so many like ideas of what it looks like, and
Mm-hmm.
if you Google it, there's not like a consensus image. There's one image that keeps popping up. It popped up like 3 times, and I was like, "What is this? It doesn't look like a Photoshop. It looks really good. I just don't know what it is. It looks like a mask." And so I had to track it down. I tracked it down to like a DeviantArt site. I tracked that down to like a Facebook post from like 2014 with the account was like gone, but I found the guy finally, and it was this visual effects artist who did the mask as like a college thing, and I messaged him and I realized that he works on Fear the Walking Dead.
Okay.
So he's like, I messaged him and he was basically working on Fear the Walking Dead right now, and he was like, hey, I can, and I was like, hey, can you make another one? Do you have, like, I'll pay you. I love this mask and I want to use it. And he loved the idea and he loved that I found him. And he was like, I did this like in college. And, but yeah, he agreed to do it for us to like use his like design. He was just going to make another one. And, it's on the website and it looks really, really good. And I think that's going to be like a really interesting thing to use. And I really want to take a lot of pictures of it, like in production, like with all the lighting and everything done, because there's not a lot of pictures of it online. And I think if I put enough pictures of it online and you search lechuza, this will pop up. And I think it's a really good visual representation of it. And so if anyone's like listening and they can pull up the Kickstarter, pull it up, and I have it there and it looks so cool.
I put it in. Hold up. Send me the link and I'll put it in the comments. But I'll tell you the origin where witchcraft actually came from. You want to know?
Yeah.
Okay. Where it actually stems from. I'm talking about I could go all the way back to where it truly comes from.
There, I sent it to you.
Okay. All right, hold on. Also, brother, while you're diving into this stuff, say a prayer before you do all this stuff beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Be careful.
Yeah, because I did a previous episode on that, on like when people were like, we were talking about how, like, are you aware of like trying to be careful? Are you aware of like all this stuff? And I wanted to make little it's like I wanted to make like little prayer bottles, like little prayer bottles for like the cast and everything to have over filming.
Yeah,
I do take all this really seriously, and I do believe in all of it, like from top to bottom. Because like if you believe in the really good stuff, you have to believe in the bad stuff. Together.
Yeah.
So I really
that's like saying you can't
believe in all of it.
Yeah, that's like saying, oh, I believe in God and angels. Okay, well, if you believe in God and angels, you know that there is a demon. There's a Satan, and there's demons, and there's other shit out there too. I know
Yeah.
about, but I ain't gonna say that on live yet. But I will tell you the origin way back that comes and where it comes from, where it stems from. Remember how Satan and his angels got cast out of heaven, right? And they came down to the earth, to get down to earth to have sex with the woman in a certain village. It's in the Bible. You read it, but you have to have the Spirit of God in order to really understand it. Okay, and he taught them how to use a lot of this stuff that you see taught today. Drugs. They taught them how to make weapons, how to do drugs, and how to do sorcery. Okay, the angels taught the women how to do sorcery, and that is how witchcraft came about. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've
Gave them
seen,
their
yeah, I've seen that.
exactly, and they taught them how to. At this time, they were the demons. At this time, okay, they weren't angels, but they have the DNA, the angelic DNA within them. You know what I'm saying? You know, basically, they can make themselves look like an angel of light, basically. You know what I'm saying? But they're really not. You know, and I studied this shit for years. When I say years, this was ever since I was little. When I was like 12, I studied this thing for years, and I know it like the back of my hand because I'm into angels and I'm into God and everything. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I'm a religious fanatic. No, I'm into actually really searching, really diving into to why things are the way they are. And if
Yeah.
you really look into the Bible, it's jotting down everything that you see. You want to know how you speak Spanish, how you hear people speak Russian, how you hear people speak Aramaic and Swahili and all those words, all those languages. That's from the Tower of Babel when they was trying to get into heaven and God destroyed the Tower of Babel and dispersed out their languages, and that's how everybody became. It was one language at first. Now you have multiple languages. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. So it's like,
Yeah.
so I know exactly what you're talking about when it comes to a lot of that stuff. And yes, you got to be very careful when diving into horror shit. Why? Is because demonic forces like to jump on you. And when you're poking the bear, you must be careful while jumping, while facing and poking that bear because you don't know when it's going to strike, and you got to be ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know this from experience. You know, we fight demonic forces every day. You know, we may not see them, but praying and all that stuff. And yes, that shit is real. That shit is real. When I say it, it's real. You're living in a fallen world, so this shit shouldn't be rocket science. You know what I'm saying? But I'm being real, being honest. I'm gonna fuck what nobody say. You can kiss my ass. But anyway, um, I'm just letting you know because from a brother to brother, just be careful. You know what I'm saying when doing these horror films because a lot of these horror films are real. That you see in movies. You know what I mean? Like The Grudge, Gothica, The Ring, all that stuff. That shit is real. That's all that stuff is real. And yeah, you might want to be careful. Yeah, that shit's got a lot of demonic forces on it, and that shit's woo. But moving on, moving on. So, what was your proudest accomplishment when getting this project out? That there are supernatural. Hold on, bro. Hold on. hold on for a second. The fact that there are supernatural and invincibilities things do more or less require believing in a higher power that balance out a lot of scary parts of life, and it could be possible that this is why certain traditions are deep inside of us.
Yeah.
Yep. Because a lot of the stuff that you see here, man, like it all stems from because you're in different cultures. In Africa, a lot of people don't like in Haiti. That's yeah, they were born doing witchcraft, born into it. Now I don't know if they know the origin to it. I don't know if they know about all of this stuff that I'm talking about. I don't know if they know the root to everything that I'm talking about. But I know they know that But I know that some people don't know what they're doing when they're doing this shit. You know what I mean? And that's why you see a lot of these traditions that you have on you was not even put on your family to begin with. A lot of it causes generational curses like molestation, alcoholism, smokers, a lot of yes, a lot of some of these traditions can cause blessings. Some of these traditions can cause generational curses. It's a lot of stuff that's happening to families, and you want to know why it's happening to you, but you don't know why it's happening to you. You want to know why. Why the fuck is this happening, and it's skipping down a generation? You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like say like it's okay. Your father was a alcoholic, yeah, right? And it skipped a generation, and now you're an alcoholic. That stems from that. That's the alcoholic, but somebody has, but somebody is put in the family to break that curse. You know what I'm saying? Break that generational curse, and it all stems from people having that will to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's real shit is real serious. It's a lot. You have generational curses of people dying. You know what I'm saying? You may have a sister or a friend that, her mom and her grandmom and her mom's mom all died, you know, all in the same generation, and it skipped and it kept going, kept going, kept going. That curse kept going and going and going until somebody broke that curse. Yes, curses are real. Yes, they are. Speaking hate and speaking that shit up on somebody, that is a curse. Speaking hate and all that shit, that is a curse. What people don't understand, cursing and like motherfucker, that's not a curse. But words like hate, I hate your fucking ass, or you're gonna be dead, you're gonna die, or so you're gonna go do this. You're speaking shit over them.
Yeah.
And yes, yes, that's a curse. That's curses. I don't know if people understand that, but I'm telling the truth, and that's it. Oh well. But brother, like, what was your finest accomplishment within your? Hold up. Let me read that question again before. What was your proudest accomplishment in doing your films?
Sure. Well, we haven't filmed them yet, so we're trying to raise money. So I guess so far it's been like being able to like find really talented people that I didn't know before. So
okay.
we really wanted a really good makeup person. In addition to the mask, we wanted like a really good makeup person, and I had to like keep looking and looking, and I wanted someone who could do like natural looks on all the sisters, but also do like monster, like do like scary looks, and someone who's really good at both. And I found someone who's really good at both, and she's so good and she's so professional that we allotted more of the budget to her because we really wanted this person, and then she agreed, which is really really cool. But I think this whole process of like working with new people, working with really talented professional people, I think that's gonna that's something I'm really proud of, and that's something I really want to keep doing.
Right. You know, I'm so happy that we got to get on here and talk about this stuff.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
actually happy. Yeah,
Yeah,
because at least you get this. Somebody is being broken free from a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, whether we see it or not. Somebody is being broken free because you're speaking about something that is being hidden. That's
yeah.
like you know. I mean, somebody's being broken free. I can tell. I can feel it. Um,
Yes.
I got another question.
Sure.
What What do you do to handle stress and pressures
I don't.
of stress
I
and
just
pressures of reaching your deadlines and stuff like that?
I don't. I just lose my mind every couple days.
Hey, I
That's
love
it.
losing my mind sometimes too, trying to get these shows done, and you know what I'm saying. But you gotta have it, gotta do it, gotta get it, gotta go. So we gotta do it.
No,
But
just I mostly just like surround myself with like people who can like help more. So it's usually just about like just trusting people to like do their own parts of what needs to be done, I guess.
true that. That's true. That's true. I feel you what you're saying, man. Like, you know, getting done a project that you've doing that you're trying to get done, it's a challenge. But we all know we're gonna get through it, ain't you?
Yeah.
Hey, that's it. That's it. What is the biggest challenge you have faced in this field of work? What's the biggest challenge?
Um, I would try. I would say trying to stand out. I just feel like there's a whole lot of like white noise in trying to get like films made and stuff, and so it's really hard to like get websites to post about your thing or like get on shows or get on like a podcast or something. I feel like there's just a lot of white noise and it's really hard to like penetrate that barrier. Um, but it's really hard to get people to look at the Kickstarter. I feel like once people see it, uh, from my like experience, I feel like once they look at it, they're like, "Oh, this is really good. Like you guys are really serious about this. We you should come on the show." Which is so I just need someone to look at it, and so that's the tough part.
Well, I will tell you. Hold up. Did you share out that link?
Yeah, yeah. You put it in YouTube and Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Did you share the link out?
Oh yeah, the one you
Okay,
gave
okay.
me. Yeah,
Yeah. All right, man. Like, for what I'm saying is that yes, those it's kind of hard getting people to see you and see your project. You know, see a lot of people. Some you got haters. You know what I'm saying? When you have haters that want to do what you're doing, they're not going to like what you're doing, so they're not going to pay attention to you. They're going to pay attention to you. They're going to keep an eye on you, but they're not going to put any effort into helping you. So I'm just being honest.
yeah,
That's just being real. That's true. You know what I mean? Not everybody, not everybody, is on for the best of your project. But um, whenever you finish the film, shit, I have you back. I have the whole crew on, the whole cast, the whole crew on the show, and
okay.
we'll talk about it some more. Don't give up.
That sounds like a
Now,
plan.
hell yeah. But now, what I want to know is, you're doing these horror films, right? Where do you get the inspiration to do your horror films?
Yeah, so I'm more of a writer right now, and so a lot of I think all of the things that I've written are like horror things, and I feel like it doesn't take that much to in the moment to like be as inspired, but for that, like for example, like one of the scripts that I've taken around everywhere, and I've had like general meetings and all that stuff, is this script called Maggot Spirits, and it's essentially a horror film that takes place in a children's detention center on the border, and the detention center is haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's sort of like Pan's Labyrinth meets The Grudge.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't need much inspiration. I'd watched the news and I was like, that's horrifying. That like people need to realize how horrifying that is, and the only way for them to do it is through like a metaphor. So let's do a movie like this. And so that's really resonated with a lot of people, and that's really resonated with a lot of executives that are like, oh, we can make this and be like that we can actually spread this message, which is really cool.
Right.
And the thing about me is that I don't like horror movies with bad endings. I don't like horror movies with I don't like mean horror movies. Like I like horror movies about the light at the end of the tunnel. I like slasher movies because there's like a final girl. So like I'm really interested in like horror as like a way of like elevating like the human spirit of like, this is how you get through like one of the darkest things ever.
Right.
The earlier that thing is, the better it feels at the end. So that's more of the stuff that I'm interested in. Like that's more of the I just kind of get inspired by like those kind of things, like real things that are happening, and then use them as metaphors and through like horror.
Well, a lot of these films out here today, a lot of these horror films out here today are prepared with demonic forces attached to them. You know what I'm saying? Rituals are being done to latch on to you, mind control, control you, to have you as it's basically to take you over. A lot of these movies are not should be seen by and the spiritual people know what I'm talking about. A lot of these movies are done spiritually to spiritually discourage you and to spiritually destroy you. People who are in the spirit or spiritually know exactly what I'm talking about. That's why I'm speaking about it. Because somebody is watching me right now, and I know they know what I'm talking about. And a lot of these movies are ritually done to attack, spiritually, to get you off your path, to get you to worship whatever they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these movies that are like the movies that are done or put out today are very, very, very dark, very dark. I mean, I get it. You got Night of the Living Dead, like back in the day. You had Jason, you had Michael Myers, you had Freddy Krueger. A lot of those movies wasn't scary. You know what I'm saying? You had Candyman, you had who else? You had It, you had Know What You Did Last Summer. You had all those movies, right? Like The Grudge, The Ring, all of these movies. Now you have movies that are spiritually draining, spiritually attacking you now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like people think it's entertaining, but no, this shit is real. Like, this shit is real, and you got to be, if you're going to sit and watch it, it's to be just for entertainment purposes, pray before you do it. But if you're just going to do it because you want to get into it, or you just, you know what I'm saying, you might not want to watch that, because those are spirits, and they will jump on you, and people don't understand that. But I'm telling you the truth, shit is real. But sorry for speaking. I don't mean to to mess up the mood, but I'm just telling the truth. That's it. But what is the what was your most memorable experience? Just getting out, just putting this thing together.
I think it's this. I think it's like reaching out to the community and trying to mobilize like the community, which is now to me, it's both the horror community and the comic community, because I've done a comic, and so I know people in that community, and so I've tried to like mobilize each.
Well, maybe you should, maybe, if like maybe you can reach out to some of the directors and some of the producers that has been on the show and you talk to them.
Yeah, I'll look them up.
Yeah, maybe they can be of help. You know what I'm saying, to get you into the right people to talk to them to see if they can help you get this thing out. Or just give you pointers on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying, because a lot of this stuff is, I can see that this is a dream of yours. You know what I'm saying, and some horror movies are made to be put out to free somebody, and some are made to scare people. Like I don't think people understand this is a spiritual battle you're fighting. You know what I'm saying? And this shit it can get hectic, real crazy. But how do you focus, how do you stay focused and motivated getting this project out?
I think a lot of it has been like that. Thankfully, my schedule is like I sort of make my own hours in that like I do like gig work, and so like I can separate the gig work into like certain times of the day or certain days or something, and so I can like do this for like a good chunk of time of the day is just reach out to people and reach out to people and reach out to people. And so I think my motivation is like the idea that this is a numbers game, that there's a certain amount of people that I have to reach out and a percentage of them will donate or support in some way. And I just have to get to that number of people. It might be bigger than last time, but it's just a numbers game. I guess that's the best way to answer that question.
Very understandable. Very understandable. So, where do you see this project when you get it finished? Where do you see this going in the next 5 years?
Oh well, so we in the budget we have set aside for festivals. So the idea is to get this short in the festivals. When we edit it, it's going to be 10 minutes, so it can be easily programmed to the festivals. That's like the time to hit is 10 minutes. And then we want to get like someone's attention in those festivals, which is some of them are made for this, to try to fund a feature film version of this. If not, we'll try to crowdfund another one with the short. But I prefer to like figure out something with the short and try to get someone to help us fund. And I think we can. I think with the short we'll have enough proof to like go to angel investors, to go to some type of investor to like figure this out.
Right.
We can make it. I think we can make it for cheap. I think we can make it for really cheap. It's even the features like one location.
Very understandable. So, what do you think it takes to get this film out?
Like the feature?
Yeah, to get the feature, the actual whole movie out. What do you feel that it takes? Do you feel like it takes heart, determination, dedication? What do you think it takes to get the feature out?
I think it's gonna take teamwork, just because there's so many of us, and like for a one location thing, the cast is pretty big. It's like four people. It's like four sisters, and usually when you have one location, you have two people, if that. So like it's gonna take teamwork, and everyone's gonna have to be on the same page. And I think so far we've done that really well. So I have like two producers that are really, really good at like keeping everything in line and communicating with everyone. So I think that's going to be what it takes.
Awesome, awesome. You know, who are your top five horror films of all time?
Oh, what, like the actual films?
Top five horror films of all time.
Does I think Pan's Labyrinth counts? That's kind of scary. That's like moody. So I think I would say Pan's Labyrinth. Have you seen the movie House? Housing or
Mm-hmm.
whatever? Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth, House, Night of the Living Dead. I would say Day of the Dead. So Pan's Labyrinth, House, Day of the Dead. Um, Evil Dead, and probably The Devil's Backbone.
Okay, okay. Hey.
Which are two.
All right, all right. Right. So, mine's is I'm gonna go a little old with you. Go a little old for you. You know what I'm saying? A little old. Mine's is Candyman, Jason.
Which one?
Mine's
Which Friday?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. All of them. All of the Candymans. I'm actually a big fan of that. Oh man. Hatchet Face. Yeah, Hatchet.
Oh, Hatchet. Yeah.
Yeah, Hatchet. Part 1 and 2, and I See No Evil. Yeah, I see that one. I love that one.
That's the Hatchet too, right? Or
No. It's
same guys or no? It's
no.
Huh.
No. I See No Evil. That's what Kane from wrestling is. WWE.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All the Michael Myers films, and I love all the Scream films. Is that 5?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, okay. Got another question. Where do you feel horror films have went? Do you feel like they've gotten darker, more sadistic, or do you feel like they are more watered down now?
Well, like a lot of people talk about elevated horror, but I think horror was always like that. I think horror is it's always been trying to say other things. There's always been a lot of metaphors, and it goes through like waves of like what it's doing. So like at one point it was like a lot of torture porn just because that's what was like in. But I think what the change that has happened is that it's gotten more broad of what a horror movie can be. I think especially post in the 80s, it was what a horror movie was very, very constricted. And I feel like as it's moved on, like the 90s really gave more of a birth to like horror comedies and like the merge in between those two. So like I think right now people are understanding that horrors can also be dramas, and horrors can be family dramas, and horrors can be westerns, and like I think they're like more so than any other genre, it's like expanding what it could be. I don't think it's getting worse or better. I think it's just different. It's just more of it, which is always good.
Okay, so what are what are the worst way to die in a horror film? The little corniest way to die.
To get frozen in space and then broken into little pieces. like from Jason X.
Yeah, that's
That was
stupid.
that was tough. I think that would hurt.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite scene out of any movie that you've watched?
Well, a scene in the movie I watched recently is I watched Alien recently,
Mm-hmm.
and like I forgot how really cool the the idea of like finding when they first find that big ship and they're exploring it and they find eggs and everything. I always forgot how great that looks and how like real it felt, and like it's like 79 or something, and it's still like it feels like it was made yesterday. It's like such a great. It's so great in just everything that it does. So I think that scene where they find it's not the Nostromo. I forgot what the ship is called. When they find that crashed ship, and then the person gets like the face sucker like broken through his mask. I think that's my favorite scene, even more than like the chestbuster scene. Like that looks great, but I just there's something about like how that energy that you get from finding the ship and that sequence carries you throughout the whole movie.
Hmm. Do you think Ghostbusters is a horror film?
I think it's a workplace comedy with like
True
ghosts.
that. Ghostbusters. I don't know. I thought I always thought it was kind of like a comedy horror kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just like Scream is a comedy horror type of thing. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Comedy horror in a way. You know, it has some funny things in it, but it's not as scary as these other films out today. Like weird as shit. I can't get jiggy with them. They don't.
The hardest I've ever laughed in the theater was when I saw Scream in college at like a screening, and when Drew Barrymore is like had her like throat like crushed, and her parents are coming home, and she tries to scream at them. Someone in the theater went, "Clap, bitch!" And I laughed so hard. I don't know why, uh, but it's because she like has her hands here, but she doesn't clap to get their attention. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And like there's little Scream moments and little bits of like comedy in Scream that are like that's really understated.
Right, right.
Which is also weird because then you get Scary Movie that just stole the Scream's original title, but and then that's like really high up. But I also like Scary Movie. I think Scary Movie is great.
See, and that's like okay for me always watching Candyman, the first Candyman when it first came out. Hearing the first part when she's in the driveway and she in the back of a car and he's calling her name. He's right behind her, walking up to her. Like you hear his voice, Helen. And but it's like that auto tone, audibly deep voice. That shit's scary as shit.
Yeah, and the first I saw Candyman later, like very late in my life. Like I would say, like not even like 5 years ago, I watched Candyman for the first time, and it's like I thought it was a slasher movie. For the longest time, I thought Candyman was a slasher movie. It's not. It's almost like a folk horror movie. It's like a movie about the idea of like telling these stories, and
Mm-hmm.
like the reason he goes after her is because she's trying to expose his story, and like
Right.
it's crazy. And I like the sequel. Not the sequel. I haven't seen the sequels, but the new Candyman that came out like 2 years ago. I really like that one
Yeah.
too. That one's great.
Yeah, that is basically that movie is based off of part one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's based off of part one. He was the boy that was taken in part one. and everything. He was the baby that was like that was in that those burning the little burning thing at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they torched it and everything, and she got killed saving the baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that.
I know one of them takes place in New Orleans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to watch those because I love them. I know people don't, but like I think I'd like them.
Yeah, that one of them take place in I think that's part two or part one. One of them, part two or part one. I know it's part one, but no, part two, part two. That's part two, part two. Part three is when she's in California, I think.
Okay.
Is when she meets what's his name? What's his name? She meets the where they man, I watched out those movies so much, but damn, it lost my train of thought, man. But
Yeah, I'll watch them. I'll
yeah,
figure
it
it
was
out.
based in California. Yeah, but yeah, like what is it basically? What do you have for the people that's coming in doing this, trying to do the same thing you don't want to do? What is the advice would give to those people?
I would give them the same advice I gave our producer that had never done this before. Um, uh, Most of your family won't give you money. most of your most of your friends will give you money, but most of your family won't give you money. Uh, so you're gonna have to depend on your friends, and you're gonna have to depend on random people on the internet that you've never met before that you have things in common with. You have to find people you have things in common with and people who support each other. You have to go into communities where people support each other, and they'll support you, but you also have to support them. Like you have to almost form. You have to find a community that's already formed and see if they'll accept you into it. That's it.
Well, you heard them. It's been well. Thank y'all for tuning in to the In Your Face show. And we out. Peace.